Hello everyone, welcome to Elliott Wave YouTube channel. My name is Henry. Today is Tuesday, June 16. The time is 4 a.m. GMT. So today we'll be looking at the chart of the IBEX. This is a Spain index, Spain 35, a list of the 35 stocks in Spain. Let's check out here what we have here. This is a short-term chart, and we can see the rally to 79.95 here. Last week on June 8th ended wave 4. Okay, so that means we are now in the wave 5. Technically is going to make a new low below wave 3, right? So this is the same high, by the way, in all the world indices, whether you're looking at the Nasdaq or ES or YM. So technically, looking at the overall indices can give you an understanding of the other indices as well, because after all it is a correlated market. Okay, now we can see right here this decline here looks quite impulsive. You can count this 1 2 3 4 5. So what that means is that as long as we stay below this 79.95, we do have a chance to extend lower again. Now the rally here can be in 3 waves, as a zigzag, or it can be as a double zigzag. WXY is possible to be WXY, or it can even be in a ABC, but this is a lower degree 1 and 2. So in other words, we can have a 5-way sub here, and we can be rallying like this, 3 4 5, right? And that will only end with A in the red, right? I mean, talking about all the possibilities, then this is another possibility right here. You can have a 5-way sub here, only ending A, and then we will have a B and then a C on the upside. Okay, but I think regardless whichever path it takes, I think what we can say with a better sort of degree of certainty for at least in the shorter cycle is the idea that the decline, it does look impulsive. Okay, so therefore, as long as we stay below the 79.95, regardless the actual short-term structure, we could see at the least one more leg to the downside. I think that's what we can conclude right here. Okay, now the larger degree, the sort of the the long-term view is going to be a little bit different, a little bit there is some uncertainty still in the longer term view, but at least that's what we can say here in the shorter cycle. Now let's take a look, zooming out a little bit, looking at the weekly chart. Now IBEX, you can see this index absolutely is different than the US indices. US indices continue to make new all-time high. This one has not even, is very far from the 2007 peak. Now if you think about it, this is the same, crash in the US indices. Seems like ages ago, due to the financial crisis, the Lehman Brothers, right? And since then, as you know, Nasdaq has done a multiple of a rally, right, from the lows and breaking above 2008 high, and needs to make a new high. Same with ES, same S&P. But look at the Spain index has continued to be languishing at the lows. So it's very different in a way with the US indices. Now, this is probably one of the only index right now, the world indices, that you can say, okay, well, I got a lower low sequence here. So I got this low. So this, okay, let's call this seeming like a flat here, E, B, C. So let's call this as a flat like this. And then you got a lower low, right? So this is the only index that does have a lower low sequence, and if you measure the 100%, it has not reached the 100%, right? Now whether we will reach 100% or not, that's another story. That's a long-term thing. But let's say if I'm using this as my extreme connector to measure just a simple 3 swing here, now you can see the 100% is way to the downside. Right? And that's why I said whether we will go there is still, unless That can happen in a very bearish type of view, Armageddon, pretty much, right? Going to 1,800. So there's a possibility we may not reach there after all. But this in the longer term is really, at least you can say, it does have an incomplete sequence to the downside, and also that incomplete sequence is valid as long as, let's say, we stay below here. As long as we stay below here, right? The sort of the path of the most, um, I mean, the path of least resistance, so to speak, is going to extend lower, right? Whether we go to equal leg or not, again, it remains to be seen. That's a very long term anyway, but that's the path of the least resistance. Now, in the shorter cycle, you see here we did get a bounce in 3 waves here from the March low. This is the same rally, by the way, after the COVID-19 sell-off. Whether you're talking about ES, Nasdaq, or whatever it is, it's the same. It's a rally from March low. Now this rally here is clearly in 3 waves, 1, 2, 3, and then IBEX starts to turn lower here, right? And this is what we call here as a wave 4. So if this is a wave 4, then obviously this is your wave 3, right? And so now we can see another leg lowers, but potentially you do not really have the confirmation. Yeah, we are really gonna crash below that 3 until you actually break below wave 3, right? Until you actually below wave 3, you can always have, let's say, a double correction like this, right? Or you can have something else. You can even have 1 2 1 2, like a nest 1 2 1 2 from the lows. After all, we have not broken below this trend line here. So long-term or larger degree view has to have some sort of confirmation, further confirmation. But short-term, which is what we what we care about, short-term, is what we can say it looks like the decline looks to be impulsive, right? So simply then in the shorter cycle, without taking too much consideration, but all of this long-term view, is simply that simply means that, okay, as long as we stay below 79.95, the index has a chance to do another push to the downside. And at this point, again, the weekly still remains to be incomplete on the downside overall, and therefore, and we also got only 3 bounce so far. If there is no other upside and we continue lower, then obviously it's only 3 bounce. So that means that it's not really a bullish market, right? If it's only 3 bounce and then starts to pull back, then that is not a bullish market. Bullish market always needs to start with an impulsive move to the upside in 5 ways, right? So all in all, again, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the downside. Now whether we break below 3 or not, again, remains to be seen. But at least in the shorter cycle, seems like we can see at least another leg lower as long as we stay below this 79.95 right here. Okay, so that is the update for today. And for further updates about IBEX or other indices, Forex, commodities, you can always try our service. We have 14 days free trial, and the link to join the trial is provided in the description of the video below. I'll see you all again next time, and have a nice day to all of you.